do. Starting event. We are live. Hello, world. I'm already cracking up. Welcome to another edition of Lately Live. I'm Lately's CEO, Kate Bradley Chernus. Some people call me Kately. You're welcome to do that too. So Lately is an AI social media marketing tool. And if you're not using AI, you're kind of like a dinosaur these days. So I'm glad that you're here for sure. And we can talk about Lately some other time, because today we're here to talk to Brian Moran, who's like small business expert on pretty much all things really, but we're going to try to focus him on marketing if we possibly can. Sure. So Brian, let me just give the bio so people know all your gloriousness as much as I can summarize in a few seconds.
This will take 5 seconds.
See, he's hilarious. So Brian has spent the last couple of decades helping entrepreneurs realize their dreams. I mean, don't you want to know him? I mean, that says it all, right? In addition to being a 3-time entrepreneur himself, so he's really been in the ditches with us, he's also been an executive director of sales development at the Wall Street Journal and oversaw financial and small business markets like across the whole company. So that's no small shakes, right? Plus, he was the associate publisher at Inc. magazine and both publisher and associate publisher at Entrepreneur Media, just to touch on a couple of other places he's been. He's also sitting on several boards, including the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council, as well as SCORE's National Marketing Council. And he's a Lately user. Woo! So thank you for that. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Kately.
There you go.
I will tell you what people call me, because I don't think I don't think this is an R-rated web.
No, you can. Because I asked him how to pronounce his name before, and he said
Brian Moran, which I have been called.
It's hilarious. Oh my gosh. You're so funny. Well, we know each other through a mutual friend, Brian Kramer, who's one of the top 10 digital marketers in the world and has been consulting lately for some time. And he is an incredible person. And just by default, if you're his friend, you must be incredible, right?
I'll take that. I'm going to put that on my resume, in fact.
Brian Kramer's friend?
Right, yeah.
I think she did. So let's dive in here. I mean, what we wanted to do today is really just talk about some marketing tips and branding with you. And I guess first, I mean, it's the new year, right? So let's start with something everybody asks everybody this time of year. Like, what's on your mind for trends for 2019? Do you want to start there?
Trends for 2019 in the small and mid-sized business?
Small, medium business, yeah, and marketing related entities, something like that.
Yeah, sure. Well, technology obviously is going to play more and more of a role as we move forward to 2020 and beyond. So, it's becoming a digital world. So if you haven't fully embraced the digital trends in your particular industry, now would be a good time to start doing that. And if it's something you're not comfortable with, hire somebody or outsource it to somebody who can help you do it. It's also a social media world. The digital and social worlds collided. And of course, there were millions and millions of small and mid-sized companies who got left behind in the initial wave. But, it's still very much like the Wild West when it comes to social media. Nobody has, perfected it to the point where they've locked everybody out. So if you're not using social media, get in the game. Those are where the conversations are taking place. It's where your customers and your prospects are and your competitors. So these are trends that will continue to largely shape the SMB market next year.
And so on that note, it's amazing, like there are surprisingly a number of people who haven't yet embraced social media. We're still a little timid about that. Like some of the questions or concerns that we even hear a lot is like, I'm just a one-man band, I don't have the capacity to do this, that kind of thing. Is that something that you hear a lot too in your
Oh yeah,
travels?
I'll hear a ton of excuses. So, and that's what they are. They're excuses.
They are, yeah.
In a nutshell, the single biggest problem for businesses of almost every size is time management. We all have the same number of hours in a day to accomplish what we need to do. But people allow time robbers to sneak in and they don't manage their time correctly. And you need to think of time as money. Like, this is money. Every day I get 8, 10, 12, 14 hours, to spend on my business. And are you spending that money wisely? Are you learning about trends in the marketplace? Are you learning about tools that will help you grow your business? Are you looking at your business from the cloud, from 20,000 feet, to understand where you want to go? So the more efficiently you manage your time, then the better you will position your business for success going forward. And so when somebody says, I don't have the time to learn social media, what are they really telling you? It's that your business is a hobby, that you really aren't committed. You don't have a plan, because and here's what I tell people at its core, that everybody should have a strategic goal for the end of 2019. So I say to you, Kate, where do you want Lately to be at the end of 2019? You should have a specific goal, whether it's new users or revenue or something. And then everything you do from today until December 31st, 2019 should be a means to that end. So the webcasts that you do, conferences you attend, social media, hiring new employees, investing in new technology, every decision that you make is geared towards that goal. It's like, I call it a GPS plan, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So your phone, you want to come to my house? We were talking about it before. You've been in the area, but you don't really know. So you plug my address into your phone, and your phone will tell you exactly how long it'll take and how far it is. And, if you need to stop along the way, where to get gas, where to get coffee. This GPS plan, it can do the exact same thing for your business, but you have to write it. You have to edit it. You make changes, just like your phone will tell you that, oh no, there's a traffic jam on Route 17. Take these side streets. Again, side streets that you've never been on, but it will guide you accordingly. And you do this with your business. It'll get you to where you want to go on December 31st, 2019. But there's a magic word that you need to input right at the very top of your GPS.
What is it?
Accountability. So when things go sideways in your business, and they will, whether it's, looking for outside investment, hiring new employees, you lose a key employee, you lose a key account, something goes wrong, most businesses will just bury their head in the sand and say, you know what, I don't want to deal with that today. Or they'll pretend that it didn't even happen. So I'll look at a client's plan. I'll say, you were supposed to be here by the end of March. You're about 15% behind. What happened? Oh, yeah, I lost an account at the end of January. Mm-hmm. And what? You didn't, add a new account. You didn't say, how am I going to make up that business? So it's accountability. So all of the things that we talk about today, all of the marketing tips and advice and suggestions, they're not good for anything unless you can point them in a certain direction, saying by doing these things in marketing, I'm going to be able to achieve my goals.
And so let's talk about the accountability and the knowing your brand. And so I think there's a really good tie in there that you were just making or about to make. So I want to usher us in that direction. Okay. So, knowing your brand, it's funny. It seems pretty obvious, I guess, to people. But when you start to really discuss it, like, for example, we've had a really difficult time saying who we are for 4 years, right? What do we do? How do we help people? All those things, right? Especially when you're doing something new and it's difficult to communicate that. That's just one way of like getting to know your brand, about communicating the brand. And then, tying the accountability into that, I think, for us, that means really every time we re-describe ourselves, which we've learned to do a few times, and I'm sure we'll do it more, is we have to reinforce that in a number of places and make sure that for us, the accountability comes in the form of consistent messaging, I guess you might say. But I'm sure there's other ways. So,
well, I'm looking at some of the people who are commenting. So Chris, Asher, Beth, and the other people commenting, they've already formed an opinion of Lately. If they've used it or they bought it, right, and they're going to try it out, ask them. Give me 4 words to describe Lately, and they'll tell you. And that's your brand to your customers. And so I have a workshop that I give on branding, and I'll post logos up, and I'll ask the crowd to give me words to describe it. So I'll put BMW, a logo, and Starbucks, and Nike, and everybody has an opinion of those logos,
Yeah.
right? Whether it's positive or negative. So you hear some things too, like consistent, or some of them less popular terms. But so you want to describe your brand one way, but the question is it consistent with the way your customers and your prospects see your brand? So I would highly recommend you do that. Ask
It's a great idea.
20 to 30 people. Ask them, say, give me 4 words to describe my brand, my company brand. So Small Business Edge, or Lately, or whatever your company is. Just put your logo up there. And if you do it with 20 people and each give you 4 words, that's 80 words to describe your brand. Now, you pick 4 words yourself and see how many of your words match up with the 80 words.
Brilliant.
Not only match directly, but maybe, synonyms, so it's close. Then look and see how many words are on their list that you didn't even think of. So you're saying, wow, I didn't really view Lately as this type of product or this type of service. I'd say that's interesting. But if people are being honest, you might get some, words in there that are either negative or not so great. And those are the ones you really need to address, because those people are being honest with you. And those are your shortcomings for your brand. And you say, why do they think that? What is this, just a kind of a one-off, or is it something that, maybe there's a hole in our foundation that we need to address? So every business owner, regardless whether you're a single, solopreneur, a small business, a mid-sized company, you have 2 brands. You have your corporate brand. So what do people think of my company? And then you have your personal brand. What do people think of me? And you want those to be similar and consistent with each other. So, you have to think about that. So every blog post you write, and every tweet chat you do, and every speaking event you do, you want to make sure you're projecting the brand that people want to see, and it reinforces who you are and what your company stands for.
And so would you say that brand management is really focused on consistency, and then addressing any negative perceptions? Is like that kind of a simple way to summarize that? Or
well, it's all of the work that you do in reinforcing your brand messaging is a means to an end. Again, that's going to help me hit my goal on December 31st. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's part of the, it's a larger context. I mean, you look at it the long term, and you say, this is why I want my company to be in 5 years. And by building out my brand message for both my corporate brand and my personal brand, it will help me get here, because that's what people think of me before I even walk into the room. So Brian Moran's giving a speech today, in Chicago, and people have, it's not always great, but people have a certain opinion of me, and they know what to expect.
Right.
It's like when you order your coffee in advance at a store that you've never been to, you've been to, whether it's a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, you've been to the store near you, but I haven't been to the store in Topeka, Kansas. But I have certain expectations of what I'm going to get, because I'm expecting that consistency. And so that's going to help you achieve your overall goal. Sometimes it's direct channels, and sometimes it's indirect channels. So building your brand and marketing yourself and your company, I think that's sort of like an indirect channel to sales and to growth and to hitting your numbers.
Sure, exactly. And so when you're asking customers for help like this, to give you the 4 words to describe your company, that kind of thing, talk about like how one would go about doing that. Would you ask like customer service to do that? Send them an email, like offer them a coupon in exchange, put up a quiz on Facebook? Like, what's an easy way for somebody to?
You know what? If I'm you, I would do it.
Yeah,
you're the face of Lately, right? So, it's you want to make that connection, and people love that and say, look, you're going to help me grow our brand. and you're going to help us achieve our goals in 2019. And if you like the product and you want it to be, around for 10, 15, 20 years, this is your opportunity to play, an integral role in where we take the business. So I'm asking you for feedback. And if people use the product, that strengthens the relationship between the customer and the brand. Oh, you want my feedback? Okay, I'll give it to you if I think you'll use it. We all get those surveys.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, you just flew such and such airline and we screwed up. Please take time and do the survey that nobody's ever going to read.
I love those.
Right. And so, but the thing is, you have to stay. What a great way to connect with your customers and to kind of reinforce the brand. Are we doing the right thing? This is the direction that we want to go, but we want your input. Are we going down the right path? What else would you like to see from us? But here's the thing: when they give you the feedback, the conversation doesn't end there. It's just starting, because then you have to tell them what you did with their information and their feedback. Hey, Brian, thanks so much for filling out that survey. Here's where we are right now in our journey.
Oh, that's key.
We posted. Yeah, we took the information you gave us along with thousands of other customers, and this is what we decided to do with it. We'd love to keep, talking to you because you are a lately user. And, if there's anything that you see along the way, let us know and we'll address it, positive or negative. If you like what the product is doing, we'd love to hear the great feedback. If there's something that we're missing, let us know.
Yeah, I really like that because, one of the things that we find integral to our brand is our customer success and service, or whatever you want to call it these days, and that relationship that we have. We feel like it's absolutely just part of being a lately customer is the nice relationship you have with Lauren or me or Asher, for example. But then I think something we do forget is we'll ask people for help, but then we might forget to communicate them how their help has pushed us along the way. So it's really brilliant that you're reminding us to do that. And that's sort of that's just as valuable as thanking them, which I want to talk about too. But I think it might be even more valuable because then it gives people the real proof that their effort has actually helped you in some way. It didn't just vaporize into the air. So that's a great tip. And it's thank you. That's something we need to be working on for sure.
That one was for free.
Oh, good. Excellent. Smallbusinessedge.com. Yeah. I'm coming. Well, so let's talk about thanking people and so I grew up writing, I'm a big fan of Emily Post. I always write thank you notes. I thank people who write me thank you notes, even I'm a little kind of wahoo around that. Yeah. But I love public radio, and I'm always thinking about how I can steal their ideas and put them into my own business. Because they go back to the well, 4 times a year. And wow, that's kind of impressive. And I saw that you wrote a really great blog on different types of ways to thank customers. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the power of the thank you and why you think it's so important.
It's a lost art. If somebody, it's such a competitive world out there. And, sometimes it can take months to get a piece of business, but it takes seconds to lose it. And, loyalty is really being tested. Loyalty is being tested with every business today because, we can always get it cheaper, online and get it delivered the same day or the day after. So you're trying to think, what's my unique selling proposition? How am I going to differentiate my business from everyone else's? And the way you and I are going to do it is by being authentic, sincere, genuine. And that needs to come through in so when it comes down to choosing between 2 or 3 products or services, the customer is going to choose you or me instead of somebody else because they like to do business with us. Right. And with something like that, you think about relationships. That's what it is. We have relationships with every one of our clients and customers. Sure. And so you want to make them feel good, and you want them to know that you appreciate them. How much do you hate when something goes wrong and you get treated like a number?
It's the worst.
Like,
they're reading a script,
Right. And you challenge them and you say, don't you want to do something better with your life than read the script? 80 times a day.
True.
And so when that's an opportunity. Saying thank you is an opportunity to reinforce the decision that your customers made by choosing you over everybody else.
Somebody write that down. That is a really good quote.
There you go. I'm going to forget.
Yeah, it just seems so simple, and it's free. That's the other thing too, right?
The cost of a postage stamp. I order hundreds of those little note cards, with my name on it. And I will write thank you notes at least 3 or 4 times a week. I take the time. I've got, books of stamps and all of that. And I will just say thank you for this and thank you for that. And I mean it. And the people, when they get my note, they know I'm sincere about it. But the ability to say thank you, you know what it requires? Good listening. Because you want to thank somebody for doing something, or for maybe it's making a recommendation for your business, or somebody who gave you business, or somebody who did something for you to help you out. And you say, thank you for doing that. I know how busy and hectic your schedule is, and that it means that much more to me now, that you took the time to do it. Or thank you for whatever it is, and just saying it. And the person, it reinforces their decision to do it for you in the first place.
Yeah. One of the things too, this is a little bit sneaky, but I've noticed I call this thank you marketing, right? Is public thanking. So what's really nice about public thanking is you can stroke somebody's ego in a public place, venue, social, kind of wherever. And so that's good, because then they get sort of a public acknowledgement about it. But then often they will share your thank you. So you get a double win out of it.
You'll see that. So here's my policy when it comes to public acknowledgments. If I've got a problem with your business, what you usually see on Twitter is, I just sent you a DM. Can you please respond? Nobody wants to read what's going on. Like, I got a problem with this company and I'm blasting them on Twitter. And so I said, I just sent you a DM. Can you please respond?
That's really classy of you, by the way. I don't think a lot of people do that. Well, they just call right out,
Yeah, but again, it's what's the end goal? The end goal is to get the situation resolved to my benefit, right? So that I've got a problem, I'm going to take it to you. And so me calling them out, that's kind of like biting off your nose to spite your face,
Right.
Why didn't you just take it to them quietly and they can resolve it, and then you thank them publicly? So you'll see me doing that a lot, especially it seems like the airlines where thank you, so-and-so, but then I mean it, and I'm not thanking the airline itself. If I do, I thank them for having such a great employee in so-and-so. So
that's really nice. You are a super nice, your business etiquette is like, beep.
Well, I learned it from a lot of really smart people. A lot of people told me, including my parents, is that, when somebody does something nice for you, you make sure that you acknowledge them. Yeah. And so whether it's a waiter, or whether it's a doorman, or whether it's, no matter who it is in an organization, I will write a note, to the company, president of the company, saying, I just had a tremendous experience with, this woman at the front desk of your hotel. And, you're lucky to have such an employee. Make sure you hold on to her.
Super awesome. Yeah. So, and especially this time of year, it's just such a nice thing to do. And really, I think that we could all, I hope that what we're saying today is contagious a little bit, right? So that, that kind of acknowledgement, it can change someone's day in every way. Somebody just recently wrote me, I save those emails that I get from customers. They don't know this, but I literally have a folder and I reread them when I have a downtime, which is often because, startup life is like this.
Sure.
And it really means, even the smallest thank yous mean so much. And of course, I use, I try to use that stuff also in my business and leverage it for social proof and to get other people excited. I mean, because it's right there, so you have to. But it's, I guess, like I never underestimate the value of a gesture, and that goes in people and marketing as well, right? It is, I mean, we're being nice and we're talking that we're humans and kind humans here, but in the end, we have to figure out, look at this stuff and how can we also leverage it to improve our business, right?
Yes, and they do go hand in hand. But when you are authentic, genuine, and sincere in everything you do, and not everything has to be a win right now moment. You know,
Right.
there are times where you need to do the right thing, but it might not be the best thing to do for your business, but it's the right thing to do. I promise you that what you'll get back will be tenfold than what you initially started out wanting to do. You know, my business and your business is to help other people run better companies. It's to help them be more efficient, be smarter about the business, learn to connect with their customers. So we're trying to help other people achieve their goals so we can achieve our goals.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I want to give you some love. So is it smallbusinessedge.com?
Yeah, smallbusinessedge.com.
Cool.
So
And they can reach out to you for help with
anything in your business, literally.
anything.
And if I can't solve it, I have somebody in my network who can.
I
So-
love the idea of you like swooping in for all things and just, no, bam, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with customer service, finding new customers, financial, cash flow, technology, social media. Send me an email or reach out to me on social media. And again, if I don't know the answer, I'll find somebody in my network who does.
And because I think like as a business owner, it's lonely at the bottom or in the middle, you might say, till you get to the top.
Taking out the garbage.
Yeah, and so it's really great to have someone like you to know that you're on our team all the time, that kind of thing. I personally am a big believer in consultants because I was one, and so I know how hard we work because the paycheck isn't guaranteed, right? So there's like there can be some more incentive depending on your role there, and also I like the fresh eyes a lot. So it's always nice to have fresh eyes come in. I find that it energizes everyone else in the team at the same time. It can help us just get a different perspective of marketing or whatever it is we're doing. So super plug for you, smallbusinessedge.com.
Thank you.
Brian Moran. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So I wanted to let everybody know, because we're going to wrap up here in a couple seconds, that our next guest will be Carla Johnson. Do you know Carla at all?
My experts.
Hey!
She is 10 times smarter than me. And much easier to look at. I got a face for radio. Carla is right there with you and your other guests. So
Stop.
You may not have realized this.
Tell me.
So you 4 guests so far: Ann Hanley, Brian Kramer, Brian Fanzo, Brian Moran, Carla Johnson. ABBBC.
What's up with that?
Right? The next guest after that's got to be like Dave or Diane or Dorothy.
Brian's the C's. Oh my God, wait.
Yeah.
If my marketing team is listening, arrange that.
You're going to have your guests on alphabetically.
Yeah, right. I think we can do that. Well, so Carla, her specialty is storytelling, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's phenomenal at it.
So yeah, we're really excited to talk to her. And I guess the last thing I just want to say to everybody listening is to say thank you so much. I mean, Brian is an incredible resource. Feel free to learn more about his work at smallbusinessedge.com. Trylately.com is us, and you can find out how we're helping small businesses as well use AI in their marketing, which is pretty something you want to get on here, people. New year, new tech.
Yeah, part of the tools for 2019.
All right.
Yeah, and you work for 2018 too.
That's so nice of you.
Easy resource to use to give me more time during the day.
I love you. Thank you so much for saying that about Lately.
Yeah.
Cool, Brian. We'll I know that we'll be in touch. Well, more and more. But I wanted to let folks know if they had any questions for Brian, and they can reach out at smallbusinessedge.com, or if you can reach out to Kate at trylately.com, you can ask me, and I can pass them along or introduce you, or anything like that. But thanks for everybody for listening, and we'll see you next round. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Brian.